Do, re, mi, fa, so. Hi, and welcome to Festival TV, the only show on Irish TV where no one sings a note, no one needs your vote, and the only judge is your own good taste. And Cian Egan. We have to have him, it's contractual. We keep him in the storeroom. On today's instalment, Tats of the Talk of the Town at Liberties Inks, we'll be taking a look at Liberty's holy history with Pat Liddy, and Tracy's down at Archer's Pub, seeing Patrick Kavanagh brought to life. That's all coming up on today's Festival TV. Can someone feed Egan? One of the highlights of this year's festival is the Liberties Inks exhibition, which had its launch event at NCAD on Tuesday. Dennis Tyrrell will be telling us more about that in a second, but first we're going to take a look at the exhibition.
I remember the first Liberties Festival back in 1970. I remember the excitement that it caused. There was an outside broadcasting unit down below on where Cornmarker offices are at the time. And I remember the people being involved at the time, the likes of Larry Dillon, Dace Fitzpatrick, Gannon Callahan, Michael Chemist Walsh. There's other people there, Lorcan O'Daloon, Larry Dillon's cousin, Anna Callahan, other people who were greatly involved and loved the Liberties an awful lot. And they were really determined to show the Liberties for what it was as a great place of culture, heritage, and a community spirit, a vibrant community spirit that was there at the time. It's going on now. It's in its 44th year, which is an amazing achievement for any festival. And I'm really proud to be around at this time, things like, you know.
So, the exhibition tonight, I've worked in the Liberties 4 years. I like tattoos as well. But one of the things you notice about people in the Liberties, nearly everyone has a tattoo. If you don't have a tattoo, it's quite unusual. So we've been toying with the idea, what could we do with that? And as a trial, 3 weeks ago, we had one day called Tattoo You, and we invited people to book themselves in for a portrait. And, well, you've seen the results tonight. We've been blown away by the photography, by the people that give up their time to get their photographs taken, and by the artwork on their body.
My name is Gerard O'Donnell. I photographed the exhibition tonight for the Liberties Festival. I would never have considered myself a professional photographer, even though I've taken photos from the age of 17. I got my first camera when I was like a kid, really. And I've begun to understand how important lighting was and how, you know, a photograph can create a mood. I wasn't intending on doing this, and I never ever thought that I would have a photography exhibition, but I am quite proud of it. I'm quite proud of it. I like the result. If I walked in, I think I would like this, you know. The thing that excites me the most about creating this was I don't have any tattoos, and I never understood why someone would have a tattoo and live with that for the rest of their lives. But now I understand why someone would have a tattoo on their arm, and because it reminds them of a loved one that has passed away or a moment in their life that has been so special to them.
Well, my tattoo started off as one little Chinese symbol. I got it done on my 30th birthday. I thought, okay, I've wanted a tattoo for years. If I get one when I'm 30, I kind of want one, and it's grown from then. So it's developed over the years, and it's gotten bigger, and I'm always planning my next one. My next tattoo is always in my head. So this arm is kind of finished for the minute, so I'm moving over to the next arm now.
And now we're going to be talking to Dennis Tyrrell, whose tattoo was featured in the exhibition. So, how you doing, Dennis?
I'm doing well, Melissa, and you?
Grand.
Nice to see you.
So your tattoo was featured. A lot of tattoos, they have stories behind them. What's the story behind yours?
Yeah, I got the tattoo in 1969, and Johnny Eagles. And when I got it, I was 15, and you know what 15-year-olds do at the time, you know, so I didn't expect any hassle over it or anything like that, and I lived with an aunt and uncle. And I came home that night, went dancing or something, and I came home that night, and my uncle came in and he a few jars on it. And me being who I was and all that, you know, I was showing off, and I said, what do you think of my tattoo? And he said to me, what does that signify? So as a 15-year-old, I didn't even know what signified meant. So I said, I just got a tattoo, you know. And there was more in the house, and he just told me to get out. And that's what happened that particular night, you know. And it's a thing that it was so. When I look back at it on the years later, you know, when you see people getting tattoos now, they just go and get them.
Yeah.
Don't have to ask permission, and it was around, but I was out of the house for a while, you know, that I was afraid to go back, you know. So that's the story of that tattoo.
And what made you want to be part of the exhibition?
I was asked by I'm the postman in the area, and I was asked by them over in number 90 Mead Street. You know, I had a short sleeve shirt on one day, and they said it to me, would I be interested? And being a Liberty boy, I said, sure, why not, you know, help out in any way I can. And I knew Mary Mooney. I know she used to run the Liberty Festival going back many, many years ago, you know. And it'd be nice to be part of it, you know. And I'm having great fun talking to my kids about it, you know, because I'm telling them I'm only a part-time postman now, I'm going to be a star because I was on the gathering, you know.
And do your kids have tattoos or anything like that?
My daughter and my son, one of my sons has, yeah. My daughter has 4. She's 2 skulls on the back of her calf, and she's one on the top of her backside, and she's another one somewhere else, I don't know where it is. And my youngest has a tattoo on his just right there in his chest. And no, I don't know, they just decided to get them, and I didn't throw them out of the house. You know, so I suppose I couldn't, you know, but that they have them, yeah, and they like them. And but as I said, it's great fun, and you know, it's good to do something, you know, and to do something like this, I know it takes an awful lot of effort, and you people need as much help as possible. So I don't have any problem giving me time.
Thanks for coming today. That was brilliant.
That's no problem at all. And thank you for having me.
No problem.
Okay.
Now we're going to be going down to the crypt of Christchurch and seeing what kind of unburied treasures we can find.
This is the wonderful old crypt of Christchurch Cathedral. This crypt, you know, is actually the oldest structure in the centre of Dublin. And it dates from the origins of the stone Christchurch Cathedral. The old cathedral, founded by the Vikings, dates from 1030, and that was a wooden building, whereas the stone building dates from the time of the Normans, built in the 1170s, and that's when this crypt was erected. One of the biggest cathedral crypts in these islands. In an early medieval city where houses were built mainly of wattle and daub, or at best wood, the crypt here in Christchurch was a terrific dry building where people could do business, have meetings, sell goods, store whiskey. And this crypt was used for all sorts of commercial reasons, while up above the business of God was done. It was a bit like Christ throwing the traders out of the temple in Jerusalem. Eventually the church got a bit fed up with traders down here in the crypt, and they're long gone. Here we have the father and son statues, a royal couple. During the restoration of Christchurch Cathedral in the 1870s, many statues and memorials ended up here in the crypt. And 2 of those incidental treasures, if you like, were statues that came from above the Tulsel, or the old city hall that was demolished in the 18th century, that stood just outside the cathedral. On my left is Charles I of England, who lost his head to Oliver Cromwell. And on my right, we have the rather weather-beaten face of his son, Charles II. Christchurch Liberty also administratively took in a church called St. Mickens on the north side of Dublin, where tourists today can go and visit the 600 human mummies and see how they're preserved by the atmosphere. But here in the crypt of Christchurch, we have two very famous mummies, but they're not human. One is a cat, one is a rat. And it appears that the rat was being chased by the dutiful cat. The rat was a clever Dublin rat, and it jumped into an organ pipe, thinking it would escape. The cat jumped in after the rat, and the cat duly got stuck. And both of them couldn't get out, and they remained there for many, many years. And the air rushing through the organ pipe ultimately mummified the two animals.
O stony grey streets of the Liberties, though your name conjures passion sublime, it makes me all trembly and jittery, because it has no obvious rhyme. To see a disciple of Kavanagh, we send Tracy to meet PJ Brady. So here he is backstage having a chat with that stylish young lady.
We're here off Thomas Street in the heart of the Irish historic brewing industry, where we're about to discover a really amazing, inspiring Irish poet. Hi PJ, I'm delighted and very excited to be interviewing you here today. What actually inspired you to write this play about the life of Patrick Kavanagh?
The first thing is I started to rehearse my life as an actor in performance in the Gate Theatre in 1986. And I was in a production of Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. And at the time I was working with the actor Eamon Morrissey, who is a very well-known Irish actor, a household name. So Eamon said to me, you must read The Green Fool. So I said, okay. Next day I got the book and I looked at it, and the moment I opened the book, I hadn't even to open it, I just looked at the cover, and I realised here was a person's life that I could relate to.
My father played the melodeon outside of our gate. There were stars in the morning east, and they danced to his music.
PJ, I'm just wondering, because we are at the Liberties Arts Festival today, is there a reason why you were compelled to bring your one-man show to the Liberties Art Festival? Did Patrick Kavanagh live here, or did he have some sort of affiliation here?
Well, I think if we look at one word in his poems, Rialto, and Rialto is not very far out of the Liberties, you know. There's a place and a space that Patrick Kavanagh calls Rialto, the Rialto Bridge, you know. So he has created the Liberties in his poems as well. So yes, did he live here at any time? I couldn't be 100% sure, but I'm sure he visited many a time.
But he didn't like my daydreaming way of going. He used to say, you'll end your days in the workhouse if you don't quit your gate of going.
PJ, if Patrick Kavanagh was alive today and his poetry wanted to reflect one core statement that he thought about life and maybe his spiritual footprint or legacy that was left from his poetry, what would you say that was?
Overall, I guess his message was to live and let live. Wow. You know, non-judgmental. Everyone's process is their own. Everyone has a value in themselves. And he said that he had the gift of making men feel as small as they really were. That's really lovely. Thank you so much, PJ. I'm absolutely intrigued to see this play now, and wishing you the best of luck with your performance tonight. Thank you. Thanks a million, PJ. Tracy. Thank you.
Oh, you're not lying in the wet clay, for it is harvest evening now, and we are piling up the ricks against the moonlight, and you look up at us eternally.
If you've got thirst for literature, you should pop down to Baker's Bar on Friday, where Sean O'Connor will be reading an extract from his memoirs of a Liberties childhood. That's 1:30 p.m, Baker's Bar on Friday. We'll also be back on Friday with the biggest show to hit the Liberties since the monks of John's Lane got caught up in a gale. That's 8 o'clock on Friday, DCTV, and you can also catch us online. See you then.